Armin, if I ask you that question, where do we get our financial education from? What would your answer be?
I don't think anyone educates us on financial education, Param. Neither the schools nor the banks. Whatever information I've got reading Google, but I don't think anyone teaches me that.
Exactly. So the answer is nobody. And I went to high school, I went to university. We don't learn any of those things. How do taxes work? How does money work? And so on. So, Harman, the first question I want to ask you is, have you heard of the X curve before World Financial Group?
No, I've not heard of this.
Awesome. So I'm going to go over this. Harman, the first question I'll ask you is, at what age do people get serious in their lives? Meaning, maybe someone gets married or whatever, they have kids or rent or mortgage. What age do you think that normally is?
I think about 25 to 30 years old.
25 to about 30 years old these days. Okay. Harman, on what age do we retire in Canada?
About 65.
65. Now, Harman, I want to ask you a question. When we are about 25 to 30, our responsibilities are usually very high. What are the responsibilities young couples might have around this age?
I think the first thing which they would want to do is they would want to pay off their student loans at that point of time, and then since they're starting their families, they probably would might buy a car. If some
Yeah.
more finances permit, they might buy a mortgage and want to buy their
Yes.
own house, and of course they would want to extend their families, and that's probably another responsibility on them.
So the biggest responsibilities are when you're younger. And what should happen to these responsibilities as you get older? They should go,
Yeah, they should go down. I mean,
right?
I probably would have paid the mortgage and paid the student loans by then.
And
So
go
yeah,
up and so on, and that's how it works. Now, our wealth at this age is usually low. What should happen to our wealth as we get older?
I think it should grow because by then I might have some savings in RRSPs or TFSs or whatever non-registered fund, something more than what I started with. So yeah, it should grow.
Amazing. So, everybody on this call, I want you to write down the next three questions because they are the most important in the X curve. Harman, when you drive a car, what is something you legally have to have on the car?
For sure, a driving license and maybe insurance.
You must have car insurance, right? Of course, driving license too. Don't drive without a driving license. Another thing is, the second question I want you to write down is, when you get a home, what is something you have to get on the home when you have a mortgage or whatever it might be?
I think should be a mortgage insurance or a home insurance for sure.
Exactly. Now, what I want you to do, okay, is ask the third question. The third question is, who pays for the car and who pays for the home?
It has to be me.
It's your income. How many people have income insurance? Most people don't. Everyone, by the way, my light is flickering. We have a windstorm happening. So if my internet cuts out, just know that it was a storm, okay? I'm just giving you guys a heads up right now. But I want you to write these three questions down. Question number one is car insurance. You have to get car insurance when you drive a car. When you get a home, you get home insurance. The most important question is, who pays for the car and the home? Who pays for the car and who pays for the home? Okay. Now, here, income insurance is very, very important. Harman, how many people do you think have income protection?
I don't think more than 10% would have that. I'm not sure.
92% of Canadians do not have any income protection. 92%. Okay. So that's a big, big number. All right. So this is everybody, this is the X curve. Everyone has insurance on their car, everyone has insurance on their home. Most people do not have it on their life. Okay. Or on their income. Very, very important. Now, the next concept I want to go over is discipline. Okay. Harmon, there are two types of people in Canada. Person A, what happens is they get their paycheck, okay? And what they do is they spend, spend, spend. They spend all of the paycheck and they have nothing left over. Now, Harmon, let me ask you this question. If they're not saving anything today, by the time they get to retirement, what are they going to have?
Nothing.
They're going to have nothing. Common sense. Okay. Person B, same person. Okay. They get the same paycheck. All they do is called pay yourself first. Okay. They're paying themselves first. They have the same expenses, but what they manage to do is save a little bit that month. Now, Harmon, if they're saving every single month a little bit, what are they going to have by the age of 65, by retirement?
They will have something for sure better than the first person.
Better than the first person. Which person would you rather be, A or B?
I would definitely love to be B.
Without a doubt, B. Okay. Now, very important. Rule of 72. This is something you always ask. When you start this rule of 72, ask this question. I want you to write this down. Do you know how the banks make money? Do you know how the banks are making money from you? Write that question down. Okay. Now, Harmon, very simple example. If you're 29 years old, so I'm going to say you're 29, okay, and you have $10,000. You walk into the bank and they give you 4% rate of return. 72 divided by 4 equals 18. Your money for the bank is going to double every 18 years. So at 47, that 10,000 is 20,000. At 65, that 20,000 is now 40,000. Everyone write this question down. Harmon, do you know what the bank does with your money? Do you know what they do with your $10,000?
I don't know. I think they give loans.
They give out loans, right? I'll give you an example. Harmon, do you have a credit card?
Oh, yes, I do.
What is the interest rate on your credit card?
Oh, gosh. I think it is 21.99%. Oh, yeah, it's
21%,
22%.
22%. So look at this. When they give you money, they charge you 21, 22%. So look at what happens. Let's say the bank takes your 10,000 and let's say they get a 12% rate of return. Same formula, 72 divided by 12 equals 6. Your money for the bank doubles every 6 years. So at 29, you deposited 10,000. 6 years later, they have 20,000. Then they have 40,000, and then 80,000, and then 160, and then 320. And then at age 65, they have $640,000. Harmon, when you retire, you're going to go and get your retirement income, $40,000. And out of that, they're going to keep how much?
Goodness me, 600,000.
$600,000. Harmon, do you want to give that $600,000 to the bank or you want it for yourself?
I absolutely want it for myself.
Exactly. That's what we help people to do. I want you guys, everyone on this call, these are golden nuggets, okay? I'm giving you 13 years of experience just in this call. All right, next thing, time. Harmon, I have a question for you. At what age did you start working?
About 22.
22. Let me ask you this question. Imagine from 22 years old, you saved 20% of every paycheck that you received. Every $100 you earn, you save $20 of every single $100 that you earn. 20%. How much would you have today?
Oh my goodness. I probably would have more than 500,000.
Easily more than $500,000. Okay. Now, Harmon, you cannot go back in time. We don't have a time machine to start saving money, going back, and so on. So, when is the best time to start saving money?
I think sooner the better.
Sooner the better. Right now, right?
Yeah,
So
right
very
now.
important. Ask people these questions. Okay, extremely important. Next thing I want you to understand is taxes and inflation. Harman, do we get taxed a little or a lot?
A lot.
Canada is one of the highest tax countries in the world. Do you know how to save on taxes? We teach you this. Another thing is inflation. Harman, what is inflation? Do you understand what inflation is?
A little. I think things get expensive, and you don't have enough money to spend. I think probably that's inflation.
Exactly. Inflation is the reason why in the 1990s, usually the husband would go to work and the wife would stay at home and take care of the kids, and the house would run perfectly fine. Harman, in today's economy, is it even possible to have something like that? Or do both husband and wife have to go to work and they barely make ends meet?
Both of them have to work, otherwise there's no way we can put the food on the table.
This is inflation, extremely important. Now, the last thing I want to go over is called the financial house. Harman, the foundation of your financial house is your income. How important is income to your financial house? How important do you think it is?
Oh, it is critical.
Critical. Three things can happen to hurt your income. Harman, one is disability, right? You get hurt, your income stops, your bills continue. Okay. For this, there's something called disability insurance, and we help people with. Harman, do you know anybody that's got critical illness, meaning like cancer, stroke, heart attack? Do you know anyone that's ever got that?
Oh, many people. Many
Many
people.
people. It doesn't warn you when it comes. Okay. What if there is critical illness insurance? If you get diagnosed, you get $100,000 tax free. And when you don't want the policy anymore in 15 years, you get all of your money back. Is that a good plan?
Oh, fantastic.
That's great. That's what we help people with. And Harman, the last thing is life. Do we know when we're going to go? Nobody knows when we're going to pass away or move on or whatever it might be. And if we go too soon, our kids are young, we got to have proper life insurance. Harman, let me ask you this question. I want everyone to write this question down. If life insurance was free, how much would you get? If
The
life
maximum I
insurance
can.
was as much as you can. So you have no problem with life insurance. You just have a problem with paying for it. Okay. So let me give you an example. Harman, imagine you can have life insurance today, and later on, when you no longer need it, you get all of your money back. Is that a good deal?
Oh, fantastic.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
That's what we do. We help people with these types of plans. Okay. And then we talk about debt management, we talk about emergency funds, and then investments as well. Harman, what are some investments that people have with banks? They have TFSAs, right? What else do they have?
RRSPs.
RRSPs. What else do they have?
They could also have some non-registered funds, investments with them.
Non-registered, and then there's RESPs and so on. Remember, Harman, I went over how the banks make money, right? They give you a low rate of return and then they get a bigger rate of return. Okay. So even people that have TFSAs or RRSPs in the bank, why would they keep it in the bank when the bank is not teaching them any of these things? Harman, do you want a 4% rate of return or do you want a 12% rate of return?
Absolutely 12%.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to roll over your TFSA and we're going to roll over your RRSP as well. Okay?
What do you mean by that? So are you?
Well, it's under the management of the bank right now. The bank is giving you 4%
Yeah,
rate of return. When we roll it over under my management, we can possibly give you a better rate of return. Isn't that worth it?
absolutely.
Awesome.
So when do we start?
So number one, what I'm gonna do now, Harman, is I'm going to collect your data. Okay. I'm going to collect your basic data. I'm going to see what you have in your plan and what you're missing. And then we can recommend and go from there. By the way, Harman, let me ask you this question. We talked about the foundation, disability insurance, critical illness, and life insurance. How many of these do you have, or are you missing all three?
I don't have any, Param.
Any of them? All right. So
None.
we're going to look into this first. We're going to get your foundation correct, and then we're going to look into your investments. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Amazing. All right. Harman, thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you.
our presentation. I think I took maybe about 15 minutes to do this presentation. Now, let me ask you some questions here. Did Harman get value out of this? Harman, we went over this in the earlier in the morning. Did you get some value out of this?
Absolutely, Param. I think, most of us on the call understand a lot of these concepts which you spoke about because of the virtue of the fact that, we have been associated with the WFG for some time. But then, even then, the way, the conversation is structured, I think that gives a very good, a structure to how the conversation you would want to have with a new recruit or a new client, probable client. So yeah, absolutely makes sense.
Absolutely. And by the way, this is a business of words. You get the words right, you're asking the correct questions. These concepts apply to everyone, whether they're young, whether they're old, it does not matter. All of these concepts apply to every single person. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring up Juliana. She's SMD as well, and I want her to share her feedback, especially on this, because when we talk about this education, we go into our product side as well. So, Juliana, go ahead. How do we get into the product side? How do we recommend the correct products to our clients as well? So, Juliana, floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. And I want to actually mention that was really good learning experience from you guys today, practicing the presentation and asking all those questions. Most of the time, what I find out when I started back 4 or 5 years ago, it was really hard for me to switch from telling people what I can offer to asking the right question, triggering their thinking so they can actually tell me what they need, right? So if you're going to learn the right questions, it's really easy to have a conversation. Either you have a presentation, it's much easier when you have a good presenter as a PARM, right? And you just you just bring the person in front of him and he's going to do this. That's much easy. But have to actually make person interested to have a time with you, sit down and also be curious about what you can offer to them. That's a question. Most of us actually have the issue, like how can we make person asking us to sit down with us, not we begging them, let's meet and all of this, right? So what I find recently that I've been prospecting and talking to a lot of people, and it's so easy nowadays to get a person phone number. And why? It's just asking the right questions. So first, you have to learn how to listen and listen carefully. Why? Because from listening what the person's needs are, you're going to find out, okay, that person probably not happy at the job, asking questions like, oh, what are you doing for a living? Are you happy at that job? And today I prospect someone at a pizza place, and I just ask a question like, it seems like you really like this place. So the food is amazing here, isn't it? They say, oh, yeah, really good. And then another question is like, oh, why in this time you guys having the breakfast, right? And like, oh, because my job start later. Do you like your job? What do you do for living? And they're like, I don't like it. You just pay my bills. So you have a startup conversation already because they don't like the job. Guess what? They'll be more interested in a new career. Also, how about asking the question about home? Did you buy your first home? Where do you live, right? Or you're planning to buy your home? All those questions can lead to the nice conversation when person gonna ask your phone number, they're gonna ask your contact, they're gonna ask what you do for living, and from there you can take a conversation any way you wanna. Maybe you want to then become a client, then you can talk about accounts, right? If you see they were looking for another career or they're looking for opportunity, you can take them to the business side. So it's up to you, analyze the conversation, and by listening what the person telling you about them, right, you can lead them to the right direction. So it's not like you have to remember the whole entire script and there is a perfect script for everything. There is not something like that exists. You have to learn how to communicate with this person by asking right questions. So another example I can bring, there was someone helping me carry the bags in the mall, and they ask, well, why so many bags and all of this? I say, that's for my child. I bring in food home. And they ask, what do you do for living? Financial advisor. Oh, which bank? I said, well, I work as an independent with many banks, investment and insurance firms. I was like, oh, I've been looking for advisor. Okay, and they telling me that they were looking for advisor and they opening that FSA. I say, great, that's a great account. I hope you maximize your benefit in that account. There you go. There's another door opening through this conversation, and client ask, oh, how about you? What other accounts you actually can open? And I say, well, there's other accounts that might benefit you more, depend how much you want to deposit in those accounts, as well as what kind of benefit you're looking into. And by the way, the question number one I ask, what is the rate of return you get in your TFSA? It doesn't matter it's 100,000 or it's more than that. They have no clue. They ask me question back, what do you mean by rate of return? I say, well, is it 4%, 5% or more? Where do you invest? Which companies? They're like, I don't know. That's I'm new in this. And I said, well, that's good to know, by the way, because investments market doing really well now. And if you're looking for actually having other accounts that might benefit you more, let's meet. Here's my phone number, and I'll show you what accounts might benefit you and your family, so you can take a maximum tax advantage and maximum benefit for yourself. They're like, that's great. Seems like you know so much. There you go. So there's different ways how you can approach a person, just having simple conversation. You don't have to tell them too much. Asking 3 questions: what is the rate of return? What is the tax advantage of your account? And also, do you have a strategy that that can actually benefit you for retirement, a retirement strategy? Or maybe is it you taking all the benefit of the account? So those key questions can help you out to just bring the curiosity from the client perspective, right? But if you're looking for someone who wanna be part of your business, asking the right questions, that's another point that I wanna mention, by being curious about the career. Asking questions if they like this job, do they plan to stay to rest of their life? How long they were planning to do? Is there a flexibility? Can they actually see themselves in the future doing this career, or maybe they want to do something else? And just having conversation like that, it help you to get the phone number. Most of the time I'm not taking the phone number from the person. Most of the time they asking my phone number. The reason why, because you actually, from asking the right question, you bringing the value to them that, okay, I think I might help you with another career. I think I might help you to to do something else. You seems really interesting person. You seems like you have a great skill. You have a great communication skills. You have a great personality. You have a great charisma. I think you'll be probably great fit for something else. Let's meet for coffee. That's so simple to when you know what to ask and not hesitate. It has to be really it has to go naturally, I would say. There's no certain scripts again to memorize, because there's, from person to person, you might ask different questions depending on the age. You can ask those questions someone who retire, for example, right? Maybe someone who's young, you can ask about what they're planning to study and so on, or where they came from, which country, how many languages do they speak. Those key questions. Immigration, that's a question. Number one, where you came from, what is your accent from, and what, do you have a family here, or you moved with your family? So again, this is a key question to ask, especially if someone you see from another country, right? And
Oh,
we can go from there, Parm. I will go back to you.
awesome. All right, Juliana. So Juliana mentioned something very important, asking the correct questions. Another thing I want to go over is the reason you want to get really good at doing this presentation and asking the correct questions is what if I told you that an average client in our firm can pay us $2,000 to $3,000? I remember when I used to work at Canadian Tire, I would bust my ass. I would work 40 hours a week, and in the entire month, I wouldn't even make $2,000. 40 hours a week at that time, I was not even bringing home $2,000 in a whole entire month. Now, in this business, if you get good at this business, you can do one of these accounts, just one in the month, and you can make $2,000 or $3,000. Okay, so you want to get good at this. You want to make a lot of notes. You want to practice after this as well. And I'm telling you guys, if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to me just like Harmon did today with me. But other than that, I think that's it for tonight. I wanted to share with you how I sit down with the. By the way, I have clients that are multi-millionaires. I have clients that are worth tens, $20 million. And I have clients that are very normal. They are a normal family making a normal income. I do the exact same presentation to the client that's worth multiple $1 million and the client that's a normal, average, everyday Canadian. I do the exact same presentation. Okay. And every single time I do this presentation, they're shocked. They're like, I never heard of the rule of 72. I never heard about critical illness where you can get your money back. Okay. So that's why I'm saying get good at this business and do one account a day. Right? Can you do that? Maybe if you go all in, can you do one account a day? I always say this, it's not a matter of can I do it or can I not. It's just a matter of how badly you want it. I'll give you an example. It's an extreme example. Let's say you have kids or you have a family. Let's say I'm a really bad guy and I kidnap your kids or family. Okay. And I say you're never ever going to see them unless you do one account a day and you'll see them after 30 days. Will you get that done? You'll go outside right now and you will find someone to talk to. So it never was, can I do it or can I not? And I'll tell you this, you do one account a day, that month you'll make $60,000, $70,000 straight to your bank account. So that's why I say I don't have sympathy for anybody. Ask Juliana. Juliana knows me very, very well. I have zero sympathy. My job is to give you this platform. My job is to show you this platform and teach you how to do the business. What you do with the information, what you do with the presentation is all up to you. And I want to say that, this is a great platform. It's getting better and better. We have a brand new bonus that's announced for associates, MDs, and SMDs as well. And I want everyone to get to work, practice the presentation, and let's get to work. The year is not over. Don't get into the holiday mood. Remember this, around December, people slow down. That's when you speed up and you blow the doors off. Okay. So you walk into 2025 with a great business, a lot of momentum, a lot of excitement, and a big fat bank account. Okay. So that's it for tonight. I hope you guys learned something, and I will see you guys all on the next call or in the office. Okay. So good night, everybody.